Aisha Al-Mazmi and Mikhail Atiyah.
On Pulse 95.
We still didn't get another Nintendo Direct or even a Nintendo Direct Mini.
We did two weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, but I feel like you guys want more.
How often? Well, yeah, we do want more, but then Nintendo often tends to give us one big Nintendo Direct or two throughout the summer, maybe sometimes three. Usually it happens around E3, but that got canceled, of course.
Yeah.
And we didn't really get an online E3. It's just like San Diego Comic-Con when it went online instead. So we have what we have, and this is, I believe, is the second Indie World, Nintendo Indie World, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so this is the Nintendo Indie World Showcase. Focuses on all indie games, and I think this is great because Nintendo's a great platform for it.
Yeah.
And PlayStation, other platforms have been trying to push for more indie games out there. And wow, we got quite the reveal.
Yes.
One that I looked into was Hades.
Yes, Hades is a well-known game. It's a well-known indie game. I've thought about playing it for the longest time ever, and yesterday, just watching the animated introduction, just like the intro, God, it was goosebumps. I loved it so much.
Actually reminded me of Transistor, if you've ever...
Yes, because it's the same art director, by the way.
Oh, okay.
She's the same person. So this is why people are like, guys, you should hype up Hades because it deserves all the accolades and love and positive reviews. It's making me actually think about it and decide that maybe I should give it a chance. I mean, like you said, the Switch is a perfect platform for indie games. So I'm like, why not? And another big deal is the free multiplayer update coming to Untitled Goose Game, top 10 game of 2019. It's a fantastic game. If you haven't played Untitled Goose Game, what are you waiting for? It's available on every single platform.
It's such, like, two surprise announcements. One was the Ghost of Tsushima co-op mode, and now Untitled Goose Game. And I feel like they kind of knew that in some way.
You think so?
Maybe they were gonna announce it later, but they thought, oh, Ghost of Tsushima did it. I think this is like good momentum to take advantage of. And it's one of those games you look at, it's like, yeah, you don't even have to think about it. It's like, yeah, it could work with co-op.
That's the thing. You
double the menace.
At the beginning, you're like, can it? And then you're like, oh yeah, yes, it definitely can. It will just elevate the entire game. Another game that is debuting on the Nintendo Switch, what actually debuted yesterday, is Spiritfarer, which is a cozy management sim about dying and saying goodbye. It looked
Are you sure Nintendo's family friendly with this kind of thing?
I mean, it's about saying goodbye. It will teach you how to make peace with, making goodbyes. And another one that actually caught my eye and actually I'm planning on downloading and buying is Raji, an ancient epic. It's based on ancient Hindu and Balinese mythology, and it was actually created by Indian developers, and it looked so good. Just the animation, just the intricacy, and it felt like it was very, very rich. So I'm like, hands down, I really want to get this game. Another one that is also launching on the Switch, from the PC to the Switch, is a short hike. I do not understand what that game is. It just looks like a bird was just running up a hill, and I'm down for that.
Similar to that one Cyberpunk cat walking simulator that was revealed on the PlayStation 5 event. It's in that same, you could say, spirit.
Yes. More or less. There's also so many more announcements from Indie World, but we don't have the time to cover them up. So guys, go to YouTube and look up Nintendo Indie World from yesterday, which was the 18th of August, and look through it. Maybe be interested. But for me, definitely Raji, Spiritfarer, and Spiritfarer, and a short hike. I'm definitely gonna be getting all these games, and maybe I'll review them, or maybe also Hades. Yes, Hades. Yeah. Maybe it'll be part of my weekend recommendations one day. Who
12
knows?
More days until I get a Nintendo Switch,
and you get to experience it as well.
Yes. So in a way, this entices me. I'm looking forward for getting a Nintendo Switch right now.
I'm glad. And you are a big fan of indie games, and like you said, the Switch is the perfect console for indie games. Coming up next, a Netflix story. Netflix is trying out a new special button when you're really bored and don't know what to watch, so stay tuned.
This is Pulse 95.
How how many times did you get together with your siblings, your friends, your family, your partner, whoever it is, and you go like, let's watch something on Netflix, and you go like, what do you want to watch? They say anything, and they say, what do you want to watch? And you say anything. And then no matter what you pick, nobody can agree on anything.
You're right. Sometimes on Netflix, I have this tendency, just even with shows and movies, before I sit down and watch it, I have to I have to read into reviews, I have to look into forums, I have to see how it compares to a top list.
Yeah.
Before I can really sit down, this is one of the things, because it's part of our job to, scrap around and look for things that are actually worth watching. So that's one of the things I have trouble with when I sit down and watch things on Netflix. It's like when that one great show is over, like when Umbrella Academy season 2 finished, I'm like, so what do I watch next?
Even though your list is probably overflowing with all kinds of shows and movies you could watch, but you just go like, this is not the right time. Maybe I want something new.
You should see my laptop.
Oh,
my movie
here.
folder
Same
is
here.
all over
Same
the place.
over here. Whether it's on Netflix or my Amazon Prime or OSN, the entire list is just filled with shows. Either they were uncompleted or I'm like, I'll watch them later, and later never happens. But apparently Netflix is testing out a shuffle play button. Some people have been seeing it when they log in. Something appears beneath their name, the profile that says shuffle play, or some others saw something similar that says play something on the sidebar. So basically what they're testing out is, first of all, the interface, which one is better, which one would be more suitable for people to click on. And I believe it's a sort of button that is super useful and be very good for Netflix itself, because it will help people look at all kinds of shows and movies that would not occur to you, because when you open the screen, you see things that you might want to watch that are similar to your taste, but also sometimes some stuff might not be there.
Yeah.
And you also see the top list, the UAE. So again, you might miss out on a lot of things. So this would be an interesting way to widen your horizons.
You're right. And still, this feature is in testing phase. So I think, if Netflix is tuning in, I'd love to just say that if you're going to work on a shuffle mode, let the shuffle mode be a little bit more sophisticated than just giving you a random show or movie. Let it be based on your preferences and watchability. So if you know how like when you click on a film or a show and it shows you like tags that they have, like quirky, funny, standalone, coming of age, So maybe they can take what we watch and take the most popular pieces of that genre into the shuffle and give us something that is something we would never have watched ourselves, but is actually something worth watching because it's actually close to our preference in some way.
I believe they're actually doing that, because one of the people who tried it out and is in the article says that she pressed on the play something button and it fired up an episode of the Umbrella Academy, and it told her, because you watch Spider-Man. So it's connected. Like, you like superheroes? Here is a superhero TV show.
That's good.
I'm very excited. Maybe check it out. Maybe Netflix has rolled it out in the UAE. Check it out. I believe, again, it's just rolled out for some people, maybe only the United States. We'll just need to
If you're the lucky tester, then,
You're lucky, yes. Try it out. Check it out. Maybe it's good. Coming up next is a rumor. One of two rumors, so stay tuned to find out what it is.
Speculation, gossip, or hoax. Rumor has it.
Earlier this week, we were talking about a growing rumor that Disney was working on, or they're looking to work on, a Luke Skywalker spin-off. But
Not a spin-off. It was a reboot, basically, of the entire the past trilogy that kind of flopped, kind of.
Still frustrating the more we talk about or even think about the latest trilogy.
Yeah.
But there is another rumor that claims that there is a Kylo Ren spin-off series in the works at Lucasfilm. And it's going to be like somewhat of a prequel that focuses on Ben Solo's story before he became Kylo Ren, making it a prequel to Star Wars, The Force Awakens.
But they're actually not too sure, because it could be post The Force Awakens. Although I would say it makes more sense to be pre-The Force Awakens, because we kind of see what happens to him throughout the movies, because obviously he's one of the main characters. But I feel like it's a wasted opportunity because he's dead.
I mean,
he's dead.
Yes, but what I mean
I
is...
don't want to know more about a character you killed off unnecessarily.
I'll be honest, of all the characters from the latest trilogy, Kylo Ren is the most interesting. And,
True.
You know, he started off just already being a villain from the get-go.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see more of that. Well, there is a few flashbacks in The Last Jedi and whatnot. But really, like, what really took for Ben Solo to turn into the dark side? I think that's a prequel worth looking into. Now, we don't know if forgot the name, the actor's name, the one who played as
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver will reprise his role because there is a possibility this could be an animated series or just feature a young actor that looks like Ben Solo.
I don't know. Again, it could be simply because I'm very sad about them killing him off at the end of the movie. That's why I'm like bitter. I'm like, do not give me hope. Do not get me more attached to him, because they were giving him a very, like, it wasn't a go and such a fantastic redemption arc, but it was on the, like, there was some going towards a good direction in terms of a redemption arc. And then they kill him off for no reason. Like, I know that they saved Rey, and it was important that Rey continues living on to continue the Skywalker legacy. That's great, but it would have been great if also Ben Solo could also face the consequences of what he was doing. That would be a nice continuation if we're talking about a Ben Solo series after The Last Jedi. And it would be nice also to see him learn to love himself, accept himself, and also basically love the Skywalker legacy that was thrust upon him.
Yeah.
And to make terms with his past as a Jedi and also as a Sith Lord. It would have been fantastic, but again, missed opportunity.
Wishful thinking and all sorts of just hypotheticals, but we know what the Star Wars trilogy is all about, and again, this is a rumor. I'd like to see this prequel actually happen, and how they can go about exploring this character and his story arc, and maybe I'll grow to love Kylo Ren even more, to be honest.
Maybe. Text us 4215 Itisalat Urdu or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter, and tell us, would you like a Kylo Ren series or a Kylo Ren movie? We'd like to hear from you. We're going to be taking a break, and we'll be back with more rumors and a Rihanna story. Stay tuned.
Speculation, gossip, or hoax. Rumor has it.
How many times have you watched Interstellar?
A couple of times.
Wow, really?
It was one of those films where you leave that theater and it never leaves your head. You just keep thinking about it. You're trying to understand the science. You can believe that maybe some of it doesn't make sense, but at the end, when you really spend the time, there's a lot more to that film than meets the eye. And I remember even doing a parody video, like how people react to Interstellar, and I posted up on YouTube years back. And then surprisingly enough, I went back to my account, and it has 15,000 views.
Wow.
Just like, I could tell people really related to how I felt back then, you know?
Well, I watched it 2 times. The first time, obviously, for myself. The second time, I was trying to convince my cousin to watch it.
Yeah.
She lost interest halfway through, and I'm just start crying halfway through it because of the whole scenery and whatnot. My best friend, Sheikha, shout out to Sheikha, she actually watches it every once in a while. So on her birthday, she watches it, and whenever
That's like
she
me
feels
with
like
Lord of the
it,
Rings.
basically like that. I mean, for somebody to watch Lord of the Rings or Interstellar whenever you feel like it, that takes courage, because those are 3-hour-long movies. They're very long. So shout out to you guys. Now, there are rumors that there might be a sequel to Interstellar. It's apparently in the early stages in development, as in, at the very, very, very least, it's like somebody writing the script at the very least. This is making me wonder, what can the story be about? If you remember from the ending, Matthew McConaughey's character was returning back to save Anne Hathaway's character because he left her in that very strange planet. So it could be that continuation where he tries to save her and then go back to Earth. That could be a reasonable plot.
But that would mean he would have to cross multiple dimensions all over again.
Yeah.
And one thing about this is that the rumor is that it's not really sure whether or not Christopher Nolan will take part in filmmaking this, because it has his distinctive stamp on it.
Yeah.
Warner Bros. Is hoping to have him at least be involved as the writer or the producer for the film. But then again, I mean, as much as I love Interstellar, and maybe a part of me does want a sequel, another part of me feels there shouldn't be a sequel in the first place. Because imagine if there was a sequel to Inception. I feel it would really undermine that powerful ending at the end with the totem and that open-ended kind of.
I didn't watch the movie. Don't ruin it for me.
It's been years.
I know it's been years, but leave me alone.
This is shocking.
Leave me alone.
Always, there's some revelation here on the show. But Inception has a really powerful ending where there's a lot of mystery behind it, and that one makes it work. And I think also Interstellar has that mystery at the end. It's like, will Matthew McConaughey's character ever find Anne Hathaway? And again, him just traveling into space, into just complete mystery. That's what makes it great. And I think it should, in a way, never have a sequel. But then again, this is Warner Bros. They are looking at profitable potential franchises.
Yeah.
And, they're eyeing Interstellar. So I could see it on a business standpoint that maybe there could be a sequel in the works. And maybe they are. Let's say that they are sitting down writing up the script.
Yeah.
But then it might get scrapped. So again, this rumor just kind of gives us a little bit of a wishful thinking. But at the same time, ask yourself this. Would you want a sequel to Interstellar?
I think the bigger question is, if Christopher Nolan says that he does not want to make a sequel, will Warner Brothers still go ahead and push for a sequel?
I mean, they've tried very hard to keep him happy.
But
so let's say he does not want a sequel because with him, how he's been treating Tenet with the delays and how Warner Bros. Has to really follow everything he does. I feel like if he does not want the sequel, it might not happen unless there's really a story that has to be told. Then possibly. I
feel like Warner Brothers might actually go ahead and greenlight it, regardless of Christopher Nolan's wishes. What do you guys think? 4215 Itisalat, or do text us. We'd love to hear from you. We're nearing the end, but we've got a couple of more stories, so stay tuned. Let's talk and have fun right here on the Afternoon Karak.
It's almost 5 p.m.
That was Afternoon Karak. For dessert,
Aisha and Mikhail suggest...
It's Wednesday, almost nearing the weekend, and it's the final segment here on the hour. But before we leave, we always love to leave you guys with a final suggestion. This time, it's a courtesy of Aisha Almasni.
I always say this every once in a while, so this is a reminder rather than a suggestion, because this is important, and it is treat yourself. Today is the day that you should be treating yourself.
So it's also like a cheat day, even if I'm on a diet.
Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. You want to order a Hawaiian pizza, even though you've been working really hard for the past couple of days and past couple of months. That's okay.
Just
get that Hawaiian pizza.
Oh, today. Just do it.
Just today. I mean, nothing's going to happen. It's just to make you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
That's important. If you have been eyeing that one game and you're like, should I get it? Yes, this is your sign. Go get that game. Go get that watch you wanted. Go get that jewelry you wanted. Even if it's something like, should I go grab coffee from that cafe? Yes, go grab that coffee.
I see.
Nothing is going to happen. It's just one day. You should be focusing on yourself every once in a while, because inner peace and inner happiness is very important, because it also contributes to your mental well-being and also physical well-being. So today's reminder, not suggestion, it's a reminder and a request. Treat yourself. Get that ice cream. Get that phone. If you really want that phone you wanted to buy, go get it. You want to have a cheat meal? Go have that cheat meal.
Embrace the desire.
Embrace the desire just for today, for the next couple of hours, and then you can go back to being disciplined as you were for the past couple of days.
Oh man, Aisha's playing devil's advocate right here.
You want to get those donuts, Miguel?
I have a few ideas in mind after the show.
Some Krispy Kreme?
Maybe. I actually sent you a voucher.
Yeah, you did. Miguel and I have this argument where he claims that Krispy Kreme is the best donut. I claim Dunkin' Donuts is the best donut. So
that's a debate for another time.
Exactly.
We're so close to the end, unfortunately.
We don't have time for that. Maybe we should bring it in a couple of weeks, and we can involve all our lovely listeners who are tuning in right here on to Pulse 95. And with that, we end our hour over here. We leave the desk for Anna Schofield and Big Has Yalla Home, only here on Pulse 95.
Pulse 95. You're listening to Pulse 95. Pulse 95.
It's Pulse 95.